Why do so many men across different cultures and different eras feel drawn to curvy women? Is it just preference? Is it social conditioning? Or is something deeper happening beneath awareness? Because here's what most people don't realize. Attraction doesn't begin with a decision. It begins with perception. And perception is not random. Attraction is one of those topics people think they understand until they actually try to explain it. If you ask men what they prefer, you'll get different answers. Some will say slim. Some will say athletic. Some will say personality matters more. But when researchers study attention patterns, something interesting appears. Across cultures, across decades, and across different beauty trends, many men consistently show a stronger visual response to proportional curves. And that raises a deeper question. Why? Is it culture? Is it media influence? Or is something else happening beneath the surface? The truth is, men don't sit down and decide what they're drawn to. Their brain registers it instantly, before they're even aware of it. The human brain evolved to scan for patterns that signal health and vitality. It does this automatically, without asking for your opinion. Within milliseconds of seeing someone, the brain evaluates symmetry, balance, posture, movement, and proportion. Certain body proportions, especially a balanced waist-to-hip ratio, have historically been associated with hormonal health and fertility. This doesn't mean men are consciously thinking about reproduction. They aren't. But the brain evolved in an environment where those cues mattered. So when many men react to curves, they're not responding to fashion trends. They're responding to biological pattern recognition that has existed long before modern culture. However, if this were purely biological, attraction would be predictable and simple. And it isn't. This is where psychology becomes more interesting. Because the brain doesn't just detect shapes, it assigns meaning to them. Curvier body types are often subconsciously associated with softness, warmth, and approachability. These associations are not objective truths. They are mental shortcuts. But mental shortcuts shape perception. In many cases, curves are interpreted not only as physical traits, but as emotional signals. Softness can be interpreted as comfort. Fullness can be interpreted as nurturing. Balance can be interpreted as stability. Again, these are perceptions, not guarantees about personality. But attraction often begins with perception, not reality. There's another important layer here. Throughout history, beauty standards have shifted dramatically. In some eras, fuller bodies were celebrated. In others, extreme thinness became idealized. Media amplifies certain images and suppresses others. But even when trends change, underlying attraction mechanisms remain surprisingly stable. Publicly, people may align with cultural ideals. Privately, instinctive reactions often tell a different story. That difference between what people say and what they instinctively respond to is where psychology lives. Now, there's something even more important than body shape. Confidence. Body type alone does not create lasting attraction. Presence does. When someone is comfortable in their body, they project grounded energy. And grounded energy communicates emotional stability. For many men, emotional stability is deeply attractive. Not because it is dramatic or flashy, but because it feels safe. Humans are wired to seek psychological safety in relationships. When someone appears relaxed and self-assured, it lowers perceived social threat. Lower threat increases approach behavior. This is basic behavioral psychology. So in many cases, what men respond to is not just curves, but curves combined with self-acceptance. That combination can feel authentic, and authenticity is powerful. It is also important to separate short-term visual attraction from long-term relationship attraction. Short-term attraction is often driven by visual stimulation. Long-term attraction depends on emotional connection, trust, personality compatibility, and shared values. Some men may notice curves immediately, but what sustains interest over time is far more complex. Personality, emotional intelligence, communication style, humor, ambition. These factors ultimately shape relationship success. So when discussing why some men prefer curvy women, it is crucial not to reduce the conversation to something shallow. This is not about ranking body types. It is about understanding how perception works. Attraction is layered. Biology influences it. Psychology shapes it. Personal experiences refine it. Cultural exposure modifies it. Which means the story comes after, but the reaction comes first. If you found this interesting, Don't just scroll away. Comment one word, biology or psychology. Which one do you think plays the bigger role? Subscribe if you want more psychology explained in simple terms. Because once you understand how the mind works, you start seeing people differently, and that changes how you move in the world.